God put people in your life for a reason. Others are there for a season. And it's very important that you recognize when people's seasons are over. Is the season over? Or have you decided, because you're desperate, you've decided to drag these random people into the new season of your life? Because you just need validation. You need all of this shit and people and things around you.
So if there's any area in your life that you need to clean up, start working on it. Get the clutter out. Start letting some of this junk go to make some room for something else. Do that with people. There's some people who's cluttering up your life. They serve no purpose whatsoever. They're just holding and occupying the space that somebody useful could be holding that space. You don't even have time to look to see what else is out there because you all have all of these people surrounding you that's not enabling you to grow.
You have spent your entire life trying to gain the approval of other people. Everything you do is determined to get other people's acceptance and approval. You talk the way you do in order to get other people's acceptance and approval. You dress the way you do in order to get other people's approval. You do certain things in life, some things you wouldn't even want to do, but you do them because you want the approval of other people. And you've been trying to gain approval your entire life, and you're never going to get it.
The more you love yourself, the more you believe in yourself, the more you focus on your own intention, the less you have concern with getting that acknowledgement and recognition from other people. The words out of their mouth are about you, but what they're really thinking about is them. The more you begin to understand this, you really stop spending so much energy on worrying about what other people think about you. In other words, your own acknowledgement, your own character, your own belief in yourself supersedes what anyone else could ever say about you.
Success is a very basic process. It doesn't have any mysteries, it doesn't fall out of the sky, nor does it fall into the realm of the miraculous. Success is a natural result that comes from the consistent operation of the practical fundamentals. To be successful, you don't have to do extraordinary things. Just do ordinary things extraordinarily well.
I don't need the approval of other people, and it sets you free. I don't need other people's approval to be happy.
I have an opportunity, I have a choice to decide who and what and where I want to go. What do I want to experience in my day? Because you're calling me doesn't mean I'm going to call you back. Because you're inviting me doesn't mean I want to show up. Because we're family, because we're friends, because we grew up together doesn't mean that I want to be a part of any and everything that you want me to be a part of. Why? Because my experience with you hasn't necessarily made me feel good about my life or my experience at the end of every night.
If your life is not reaching an expected end, do you have the courage to test your systems? Is it the way you speak, the way you understand, or the way you think that is stopping you from becoming what God would have you be?
Why would you walk in the opposite direction of your dreams? The man wishes for happiness and thinks the thoughts and commits the acts that take him to certain despair. Failing in life is failing to think today. Failing to care, to climb, to learn, to keep trying day by day. What have you got to lose? Only the despair and fear and guilt of the past. So start the new process. You can begin a new habit no matter how small it is. Whether or not you start and whether or not you continue are all that is important. Recognize that the start of the better life, the happy life, is today. Start the new journey today. Get some momentum going on your new commitment to the better life.
Do you love yourself enough? For a lot of people out there, that's what holds them back in life. So whatever your goal is, you're gonna come to a time when you're gonna have to stop counting on other people to help you. And you're gonna have to stop focusing in on how much people have let you down. And you're gonna have to really realize, like, this thing, life, your journey, this is up to you. And whatever you want out of it, It's how bad are you willing to go after it?
I don't have the luxury to waste time. I'm expecting some great things from life. And so I have to spend some time working on myself and developing myself. Some people wish they could do better, but some people expect to do better. Where are you on that? Take care of you. Look out for what truly satisfies you. Make caring for you the highest priority in your life. We're not taught to look out for ourselves. We're not taught to take care of ourselves. So make a conscious effort. Make you number one priority. Your health is more important than your family and any and everybody. Don't neglect yourself.
Happiness is a joy that most often comes as a result of positive activity. It is a result of an awareness of the full range of life. Happiness is being able to explore the offerings of life. Happiness is both receiving and sharing, reaping and bestowing. Happiness is activity with purpose. Happiness is freedom from the negative children of fear, such as worry, anger, low self-esteem, envy, greed, and so on. Happiness is contentment with the tasks of your life. It's love in practice. Happiness is both a grasp of the obvious as well as an awe of the mysterious.
The fact of the matter is, not everybody who is giving you feedback is necessarily a hater or necessarily antagonistic to you. See, sometimes they're just giving you feedback. Sometimes they're just concerned. You need to learn to distinguish between criticism, concern, and feedback. And they are three completely different things.
Take full responsibility for everything you do. Be responsible to yourself. It's your crop. Whatever your paycheck is, take full responsibility. You say, well, it's my employer. No, it's not your employer. You can become twice as valuable, 3 times as valuable. Burn the midnight oil, learn some more skills, bring more value to the marketplace. I'm telling you, whatever your harvest is, take it without complaint. Take it without blaming others. Self-preparation leads to control over your life. We discussed this in the last session. Whenever you prepare correctly, taking all of the steps you're supposed to take, doing everything in your power to stay on track, whenever your preparations lead to success, achieving your goals, you reinforce the disciplines that got you there. Success leads to reinforcement of the proper disciplines. If what you're doing is working, keep doing it. If what you're doing isn't working, change it. When you are doing all that you can possibly do and are successful at reaching your expectations, keep doing it. Success is a reinforcement. Psychologists call this positive reinforcement. We all know about positive reinforcement. That's how we train our dogs. That's how we teach our kids. That's how the trainers at SeaWorld can get a killer whale to do tricks and follow commands and work side by side with humans by positive reinforcement. When you bring a brand new puppy home and try to teach him not to mess in the house, what do? You reward him for going outside or scratching at the door. When you're trying to get your toddler out of the diaper stage, what do? You reward her with special presents, make her feel special for learning something new. When you're trying to get your older kids to crack the books and study, what do? You reward them when they get good grades. You teach them that the skills they are developing now will have great positive effects on their lives later. But you reward them now. This is positive reinforcement. Learning that there are rewards for doing something good, something worthwhile, something of value. The greater the value, the greater the reward. The better you do, the better your reward. The greater the value, the greater the reward. A bigger paycheck, a better house, financial freedom. It's all a reward system. Now, there are 2 major benefits of positive reinforcement. Number 1, positive reinforcement builds good habits. If what you are doing, the habits you've gotten into, are building your ambition and increasing your success, keep doing them. Your success is reaffirming that these habits are good. Your success tells you that you need to keep doing what you are doing. By reviewing these habits that bring on success, you reinforce them, give them sticking power. Now here's the other side. By reviewing your habits, what you do every day, by reviewing your habits, you may find out that some of them are inhibiting your success. You may find out that what you're doing every day is bad for you. Or you may realize that you've gotten out of some very good habits. Somebody says, well, I've just gotten out of the habit of taking my daily walk around the block. Well, I guess you'll just have to get in the habit of being sick down the road. Somebody says, well, I used to read the books all the time. I've just gotten out of the habit. Then change it. Go back into your disciplines. If you've just gotten out of the habit, just get back into the habit. It's called discipline. If it doesn't work, don't do it any longer. You can keep your fingers crossed if you want to and hope that it'll all straighten out. You can wish for the wind not to blow quite as severely, to change in your favor, but we call that naive at best. If the habits that you've gotten into aren't serving you, change them. You can't keep doing this any longer. Don't wish for a better wind. The key is to wish for the wisdom to set a better sail. Utilize whatever wind that blows to take you where you want to go. That is the philosophy I picked up at age 25, and it revolutionized my whole life. And here's what I found. I found it was easy. I became a millionaire when I was 31, and I found it was easy. Now here's my definition of easy. It was something I could do. I figure if it's something you can do, it's easy. But here's a little parenthesis. I worked hard at it. I made sure my disciplines were in line. I made sure my habits were good. I made sure I did all that I could. I found something that I could do, but I worked hard at it. I got up early, stayed up late, and worked hard from age 25 to 31. But what I did was easy, meaning it was something I could do. Well, you say, Mr. Rohn, if it was so easy, how come during those 6 years, all those other people around you didn't get rich? Here's why. It's easy not to. How else would you describe it? That's it. It's easy to keep doing the things that don't work. It's easy to keep bad habits. It's easy not to develop the disciplines. It's easy not to. So how come I got rich and they didn't? Here's a philosophical phrase. The things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. That's the difference between success and failure, between daydreams and ambitions. Here's the key formula for success. A few disciplines practiced every day. And those disciplines have to be well thought out. What should you spend your time doing? Don't waste your time on things that aren't going to matter. But a few simple disciplines can change your whole economic future. Future with your family, future with your business, future with your enterprise, your sales career, your management career. A few simple disciplines. A few simple habits. Good habits. Repeated every day. Now here's the formula for failure. Errors in judgment. Repeated every day. All you've got to do is to have a few errors in your judgment and repeat them every day. I'm telling you, they'll spin out of control in 10 years. You'll end up driving what you don't want to drive, wearing what you don't want to wear, living where you don't want to live, earning what you don't want to earn. A few errors every day, bad habits every day. It's disastrous.
Something within me, the something that's driven me on for 30 years, says no. There are some big surprises coming.
A lot of people They're scared of themselves. They're scared of the power that they've got. Way back when the Occupy movement was happening and they occupied Wall Street and they didn't know what they wanted. They just knew they didn't want what we have. We just want something different. You say, well, what's your goal? And they go, we don't know.
Human revolution is the term used by Second Soka Gakkai President Jose Toda to describe a fundamental process of inner transformation, whereby we break through the shackles of our lesser self, bound by self-concern and the ego, growing in altruism toward a greater self capable of caring and taking action for the sake of others, ultimately all humanity.
We just want all this to go away. And I used to say then, you don't need to occupy Wall Street because we human beings already occupy the entire earth, but we don't occupy ourselves. You know, non-compliance, simply getting back on with your life is how to get through this. We're not going to do what you tell us. We're going to go and do what we want to do. If everybody applied that to their own lives and supported the people around them in doing that, we'd change the world in a day. You know, this whole thing that's happened has been due to our compliance. Like when you look at the people locked down in Shanghai, 26 million people, 3,000 or 4,000 people have told them to lock down. 3,000 or 4,000 people are in control of 26 million. I think I see a way out.
And this cult is very vulnerable to people awakening to it because its biggest source of power is, apart from human power being handed to it, is the fact that people aren't aware that it exists. But more and more people are becoming aware. But there's this transition that needs to take place where people cross the road. And that doesn't mean there has to be a violent revolution. There has to be a revolution of perception, because from that, everything else comes. We live within a field of potentiality, a field of energy, vibration, which is all possibility.
As Daisaku Aikida explains, there are all sorts of revolutions: political revolutions, economic revolutions, industrial revolutions, scientific revolutions, artistic revolutions. But no matter what one changes, the world will never get any better as long as people themselves remain selfish and lacking in compassion. In that respect, human revolution is the most fundamental of all revolutions, and at the same time, the most necessary revolution for humankind.
You know, if all of these people simply said no and got on with their lives, and if we did that right around the world, that's the momentum that we need. You can see the lies now. You can see the lies. The whole thing is crumbling. The whole narrative is crumbling. None of it makes any sense. So when people can see the lie for what it is and realize that everything's a lie and just become human again, that's the key to the whole thing. You know, we've got to stop externalizing it. When we see these trucker blockades, when we see these things, we realize that we can do this ourselves. You can do this without even leaving your home. You know, the best protest that you have is to be a real human being. That's the best thing you can do. Be a real human being, be supportive of your own life, of your own family, and of the people around you, and just get on with your life and make things work. I've always said it's a lot easier to get forgiveness than permission. So when you see something that needs doing, just go and do it. That's the way out of this. It really is. Why do people think they have rulers? Why do people think they need to be told when they can be free and when they can't be free, and when they can go to the store and when they can do this and when they can do that? What is wrong with people?
For, as Daisaku Aikida writes, a great human revolution in just a single individual will help achieve a change in the destiny of a nation, and further, will enable a change in the destiny of all humankind. Taking responsibility for transforming our own lives is the first step toward creating a human society based on compassion and respect for the dignity of all people's lives.
Everything that exists in this reality is a frequency. Every thought is a frequency. Every emotion is a frequency. And so if you believe that you are little me and you have no power, then that frequency band that is generated by that perception of self will interact with the field, and you will create a feedback loop that will appear to you to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. You think you're little me, you have no power, you are experiencing a life of little me, I have no power. Not because it's true, but because you believe it is. And when you open your heart, you open your mind, and you re-self-identify from I am are labels to I am all that is, has been, and ever can be, having a brief experience.
The question of how to change in a positive direction is one which has spawned countless theories, religions, and publishing empires. Certainly, self-discipline and effort can enable us to make positive change, for example, by starting to exercise regularly. But the willpower required is often hard to maintain. Our self-control may slip at a crucial moment because we have not addressed the underlying inner causes of our behavior.
You know, we've got to get over this hump, and that's what this is. If people can look at it through the right eyes, they can see how they've been controlled into this and how simple it would be to just do something else. The problem is that people want someone like me or someone like you to come along and say, I've got the solution. Here's my plan. Here's my draft. You all follow these directions and then we'll get to here. Well, how are you just looking for another ruler, another person to come and tell you what to do and you know, hope that when it gets there, you'll just be able to get on with your lives and buy the same magazines and do the same stuff that you were doing before, which wasn't freedom. You know, we've got an opportunity for freedom here. We've got an opportunity to rediscover what it means to be human here. And that's what I see coming out of this. I see a really, really positive future coming out of all this because, I mean, there's no going back to what we were, and there's no going back to having any faith in these politicians or this system or the medical industry or the media or any of it anymore.
Then your band of frequency explodes both in its breadth and scale and in its frequency, and you start interacting with the field of possibility and probability at that level. And this is why when people go through this awakening process, they start to find that amazing synchronicities start to happen in their life that didn't happen before. Coincidences and bits of luck and things just happening when you need them, or meeting people in strange circumstances. My God, fancy seeing you here. And people look back and they think, well, this wasn't happening before. No, because you were interacting with a narrow band of frequency with the field of possibility, and that's what you were experiencing. Now suddenly you started to awaken. You're interacting with the field in a completely different way, more expanded way, and now things that you can manifest in that feedback loop, fine detail, bits of luck, things happening just when you need them.
Human revolution is the work of transforming our lives at the very core. It involves identifying and challenging those things which inhibit the full expression of our positive potential in humanity. Nature in Buddhism is based on belief in a pure, positive, and enlightened condition of life, which exists equally within all people. This life state of Buddhahood is characterized by the qualities of compassion, wisdom, and courage, which enable us to create something of value from any situation. When we look beyond our personal concerns and take action for the sake of others, this process is strengthened and accelerated. An experience which previously seemed like an unjust burden can become the key to finding the purpose of our lives, as we learn how to help others struggling in a similar situation. This individual process of human revolution is the very key to sparking change on a global scale.
It takes courage to let things go. Things that hurt you, things that wounded you, things that made you bleed, things that where you suffered loss, promotions you didn't get, houses you lost, men who left, women who betrayed you. It takes courage to let it go. You have to have enough faith to believe that what is in front of you is greater than what was behind you. If you don't learn how to forgive, you cannot live, you cannot thrive, you cannot move forward, and you will always suffer. You will always suffer. But But if that thing is still living in your head, it's going to still be living in your life. If you're still bitter in your head, you're going to be bitter in your life. You got to determine, do you want to embrace your destiny, or do you want to flutter on the ground in your history? This is a decision only you can make. You will have to make a decision. If you want more in the second half of your life than what you had in the first half of your life, then you're going to have to let the first half go.
Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. See, your unwillingness to forgive another person is like you sipping the poison, waiting on them to die. You can't sip the poison of unforgiveness and expect them to die.
If you don't learn how to forgive, you cannot live. You cannot thrive. You cannot move forward. And you will always suffer.
Forgive any relationship that you ever had that didn't work out. Forgive everybody else. Forgive everyone else in your life that has ever hurt you in any way. Every past childhood slight, every sibling, every person in your family, every person you ever worked for, every lousy boss or person who cheated you, lied to you, robbed you, and everything else, and so on. I mean, just let it go.
I think for myself, and I know many of you, you think forgiving means accepting what has happened to you. Well, it is accepting that it has happened to you. Not accepting that it was okay for it to happen. It is accepting that it has happened, and now what do I do about it? Forgiving is giving up the hope, not holding on, hoping, wishing that it could have been any other way than it actually was. Giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And when I got that, I think it took me to the next level of being a better person, because I don't hold grudges for anything or any situation, and neither should you. It's letting go so that the past does not hold you prisoner, does not hold you hostage.
I cannot step into the future and still think in my past. I cannot let the rumors and the stain of what they said about me destroy my opportunity.
Forgiveness of yourself and of others will release you from the prison of the past. Thoughts of bitterness cannot create joy. No matter how justified you feel you are, no matter what they did, if you insist on holding on to the past, then you will never be free. Forgiveness is a tricky and confusing concept for many people. There is a difference between forgiveness and acceptance. Forgiving someone does not mean that you condone their behavior. It really has nothing to do with the other person. The reality of true forgiveness lies in setting ourselves free from holding on to the pain. When you do not flow freely with life in the present moment, it usually means you are holding on to a past moment. Only in the present moment can you create your future. If you are holding on to the past, you cannot be in the present. It is only in this now moment that your thoughts and words are powerful. So you really don't want to waste your current thoughts to continue to create your future from the garbage of the past.
You can't drive your car looking in the rearview mirror. If you keep looking in the rearview mirror, you're going to keep crashing your car. There's a reason why the rearview mirror is this big and the windshield is this big. The windshield is your future. It's where you're going. It's where you're headed. If you got someone who you feel has wronged you and you carrying that, that's like a cancer. And all it's doing is eating away at you.
Unforgiveness does not hurt your enemy, it hurts you. For you to be unforgiving is like you drinking poison and waiting on him to die.
You know how many people I just let go so I could just go where God had for me? Look, man, if you got something that's been bothering you in your life, get past it.
You cannot go into a new season if you're always looking back at the old. Quit putting energy into negative things of the past. The way to get past it is you have to starve it. Quit thinking about what you didn't get, how you can prove to them that they shouldn't have left you. If you will put that same energy into your destiny, expecting God's favor, then God will give you beauty for those ashes. You don't have to pay anybody back. God will be your vindicator. You cannot get well if you're always reopening the wounds. That's making it worse.
You can never be free of bitterness as long as you continue to think unforgiving thoughts. How can you be happy in this moment if you continue to choose to think angry and resentful thoughts? Thoughts of bitterness cannot create joy. No matter how justified you feel you are, no matter what they did, if you insist on holding on to the past, then you will never be free. Forgiveness of yourself and of others will release you from the prison of the past.
So don't keep beating yourself up, all right? Just let yourself go. Let yourself off the hook. And when you let it all go, it's almost like a huge burden off your back. You just forgive everybody and you forgive everything, and on a go-forward basis, you just forgive everybody. You don't have any negativities at all. No negativity toward anybody. You're just a positive person. And if you'll do that, if you accept responsibility, like yourself, and forgive everyone else, you become a truly superior person.
So, this is what I want to ask you to ask yourself. Do you want to be right, or do you want peace? Woo! This was huge for me. The unfortunate fact is that having both may not be possible. And also, you may never get your moment of righteousness, so why wait for it? Choose peace. What I know for sure is that in this world, time is a moving on, and it's our most valuable commodity. You can never get it back. So staying in that loop, playing it over and over in your head of hurt, only amplifies your pain. Let it go. Exhale, make room in your heart for something that is uplifting. Surround yourself with people who want the best for you. You have the ability to shift the DNA of your spirit and control how you perceive life. So why not lighten your load and let it go?
Wash your face. Wash your face is a significant issue because it means literally, don't let your past affect your present. Wash your face means wash everything off you that you collected along your journey and prepare yourself for where you're going. Wash your past off of you so that it doesn't pollute your present. You'd be surprised at the people who have ruined where they are with where they came from.
See, the problem with some of y'all, you can never reach forward because you're too busy looking at the past. You're still trying to figure out who did what they did, how they did it, when they said it, why did this happen to you. You got to forget about it. It's over. Ain't nothing you can do about it. It's history. You can't change the past. You can't do anything about yesterday. The only thing you can do something about is tomorrow, and you need to be spending the day doing something about what's going to make tomorrow different.
You can sit across the table to interview them, and when you start interviewing them, they start talking about what they went through and what they went through on the last job. They just wasn't ready for me, and they just didn't understand my gifting and the person of my color. And after a while, you can see bitterness. And the whole problem is, regardless of whether they went through a bad experience or not, they've never washed their face. And you're not ready for what God is about to give you now because you're still polluted with what you went through then. You'd be surprised at the people who are married to 2 or 3 people, not legally, but mentally and emotionally. You're with Fred, but you're still angry about Jimmy. and you got an attitude about Willie, and now you're with Fred, treating him like he might be Willie, and just in case you haven't, Jimmy used to do that, and you're ruining your present because your past is still active in your life. The old woman taught the young girl, before you go any further, wash your face. I shouldn't be able to look at you and see your past on your face. Wash it off you. You can't go forward until you wash the past off you.
Forgetting those things which are behind.
I don't care how long it takes, if it takes laying on the altar, if it takes 6 months, if it takes 6 years, you cannot go forward until you wash your face. You're not ready for Boaz until you wash your face. You got too much stuff on you from yesterday. You must wash your face.
Somebody say reaching forward. That word reach means to stretch for the future. It's a stretching.
Clinging issues from the past, residue that we can readily detect. It is possible to be delivered from something and still not wash the effects of it out of your lifestyle. I don't care what you got to do to wash your face until people can no longer look at you and determine what you were before. You'd be surprised at the people who can't figure out why their life is being polluted. They've actually been delivered. They've actually gone on in their life, but they fail to wash from their face where they came from, and they look like where they were, and so they're still penalized as if they were where they were. Even though they've come up higher, they didn't wash their face. You got to wash your past off of you, or you will forfeit your opportunity to go forward. And you'll be angry at people and upset at people, but people wouldn't be talking about you if you would just wash your face. You can't go to the bed of Boaz looking like a Moabite.
So your big problem is you want to stay in the level of comfort. And God's word is to tell you today, he's going to put you in situations and environment that you're not going to be comfortable. Somebody tell your neighbor, I might not be comfortable now, but I can get comfortable. I might not have been down this road before, but I can come down here enough times to where I know where the turns are and what to do and how to make it. But you got to look ahead. Somebody say, look ahead. Say it one more time, look ahead.
Isn't it amazing how God's will and purpose will take you to places that if you're not prepared for, you will keep losing them and not know why? Because nobody has the nerve to look you in the eye and tell you face to face, you need to wash your face. Education doesn't fix this. You can go to the university and have more degrees than a thermometer and still talk like a hoot. You had the academics, you had the intellect, you had the ability, you had the school loan, you had the tenacity, you did everything. You got the degree. You're in the upper echelon. You're moving amongst certain people of influence and affluence, but you're not able to handle it because you never washed your face. You might as well be in the back of a trailer over in the project somewhere, spitting watermelon seeds over your grandmama's back porch, because for all of your training and education, you never did wash your face and prepare yourself for where you are now, and you're trying to change the whole system to fit you when you have to fit the situation. Everything's not going to change for you. You've got to, oh God, who am I talking to today?
What am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you, if you stretch and reach for what you want to do, if you reach out for it, and if you have a mentality to press for it, you can get whatever it is you want to do.
Because if you don't start changing your attitude, you will miss your altitude. God will want to take you up, but your attitude will keep pulling you back down. Oh, you're not ready for this. How many times have you been approached by a sales clerk who couldn't sell you anything because they had a bad attitude? Somebody else walked up to you and sold it to you, and you bought it with the quickness because they knew how to approach you. Don't think that it's all about the product. It's about the personality too. If you got a personality, God will bless you.
Somebody said you got to forget some things. And sometimes it means you got to forget some people.
A person who can forgive nothing is a person who's totally destroyed psychologically and emotionally.
Yes, that's the story of two monks on a pilgrimage, and they come across, in a village, they come across a young 17-year-old girl with a long kimono trying to cross a very muddy road, but she's not daring to step into the mud. So one monk picks her up, carries her across the road through the mud, puts her down, and so the monks walk on in silence for another 4 or 5 hours, just practicing noble silence. And then after 4 or 5 hours, they're getting close to their destination. One monk says to the monk who had picked up the girl, oh, you know, we shouldn't have done that because we monks are not supposed even to touch women. So you shouldn't have picked up that girl. You're not supposed to do that. And the other monk says, oh, are you still carrying that girl? I put her down hours ago. So the other monk was still carrying the girl, the event, in his head.
4 hours
and
later.
For 4 hours he was walking with this burden.
Yes, right.
And that shows the reluctance of the human mind to let go of the past.
Forgive any relationship that you ever had that didn't work out. Now this is hard because it's so personal and it's so painful. If you then forgive every previous relationship, you accept that you were at least partially responsible for getting into the relationship, you were definitely responsible for staying in the relationship, you just say, I am responsible, I am responsible, I am responsible, I bless them and let them go. And just let it go. Because in letting them go, you set yourself free. By not letting them go, you're keeping yourself in prison, in an emotional prison.
Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. I think for myself, and I know many of you, you think forgiving means accepting what has happened to you. Well, it is accepting that it has happened to you. Not accepting that it was okay for it to happen. It is accepting that it has happened, and now what do I do about it? Forgiving is giving up the hope, not holding on, hoping, wishing that it could have been any other way than it actually was. Giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And when I got that, I think it took me to the next level of being a better person, because I don't hold grudges for anything or any situation, and neither should you. It's letting go so that the past does not hold you prisoner, does not hold you hostage.